questions from the group.
It'll be shorter than Jeff's. Appreciate being here. This is a great day to start for kind of the kickoff for all of our coaches. Obviously, I know the one question everybody's waiting to have asked or answered. We sent out a release earlier concerning we have great respect for the NCAA in terms of their review and examination of our use of recruiting services, and we've cooperated fully with them and will continue to cooperate with them. We've also asked an outside law firm to conduct a review of our situation and produce a report that we will make public. And when those reports are public, we'd love to talk about the situation, but we're kind of bound by that right now. So as the head coach of this program and as this football program, we're held accountable for everything that we do. So we look forward to when we can. I'd love to talk about it. There's a lot of answers I would love to make sure that we can get out there. So with that, we're excited about the 2011 season. I'd like to commend the media that covers this conference because I think you're the smartest ones out there. You picked us to win the league, and what I just learned out back is that 10 out of the last 11 years you picked us to win the league. So I guess our answer to that question is we hope you're right. We're a young football team. We have about 11 seniors on our football team. We graduated a tremendous amount of kids last year that just had great character and understood what our football program is all about and how we play the game. We've got some good seniors coming back. David's one of them. David's here. He's an all Pac-10 tight end. He's an academic, all Pac-10 academic tight end. He graduated last winter with a 3.6 grade point average in business and is currently enrolled in our Masters of Business program. He's everything you want in an Oregon football player. And we're excited, through David's leadership. Even though we're a young football team, I looked at our roster coming in here. I think we have 11 or 12 seniors, and we'll have 47 either freshmen or redshirted freshmen. So it's a good time for us. We're excited. We start on August 8th, and we have a interesting game to start the season on September 3rd that has every one of our players' attention, and we're going to work as hard as we can to prepare for that game on September 3rd against a really, really good LSU team. So with that, we'll open it up to some questions.
Questions? We got one in the back center.
Chip, regardless of what the findings may yield, there's been recruits, I've read some reports that have expressed some concerns about potential sanctions, something like that. To what extent has that become an issue that you've had to address in recruiting?
I haven't had to address it, with the recruits that we have right now. We're coming off back-to-back Pac-10 championships. As we move into a brand new league with a brand new television contract, I think it's a bright future for us. We had a berth in a Rose Bowl 2 years ago. We had a berth in a national championship game, and I would think, I understand from the kids we've talked to, our recruiting is going very, very well.
Question up front, center.
Coach Kelly.
Yo, I got you.
Can you just talk a little bit about how big the return of LaMichael James coming back does to your offense?
Yeah, LaMichael is the returning Doak Walker Award winner as the nation's #1 running back. And obviously, I've always believed that to win football games, you have to be able to run the football. And we've led the Pac-10 in rushing for the last 4 years, total offense for the last 4 years, scoring offense for the last 4 years. And LaMichael's a huge part of that. We've had a great tradition of running backs in the 4 years that I've been there. But LaMichael's a special, special player. The one thing we're excited about is we feel like we have two. You put LaMichael with Kenyon Warner and can take LaMichael out of the game and then put Kenyon in the game. We really don't think we lose anything. And we think that tandem, I really would say could match up with everybody in the country.
David,
Back left.
a lot of the focus has been on what the coaches had to say and what your AD Mullins has had to say. From a player standpoint, with all this stuff swirling around your program, is it affecting you guys at all as far as players and the way you're approaching the season or the way you're approaching having to deal with the media?
No, I don't think it's really affected us as players. We're really just focused on getting better this summer, working hard in the weight room, doing some 7-on-7, trying to come together as a team and get ready for this upcoming season.
Back center.
Chip, is the status of Cliff Harris or Pico Alonso changed at all this summer? What's the earliest you can anticipate either of those guys playing at this point?
Their status hasn't changed. I haven't. We're not with our players in the summertime, so we'll meet with them when we get back, and obviously, like anybody that I have to deal with in those situations, they have academic and behavioral things that they have to get accomplished, and we'll deal with that as it comes. And I really can't tell you at this point in time what their status is, except that they're working out with our team and they're doing things right now, and we'll figure out where that fits as we move forward during the season.
On the right side. Far right.
Chip, Ted Miller, ESPN.com. You said that you guys have announced that Cliff is suspended for the opener.
Mhm.
Have you made a decision of is Kiko going to be able to play in that first game?
No, I haven't made any decisions on Kiko. And there's a lot of answers that we need to get before we make any of those decisions yet.
Okay, we've got front right here.
Hey, Coach. What one question would you like to answer but can't due to the not ongoing NCAA double investigation? You like how I did that?
That was really good. What's your name?
Uh-oh. Lisa
That's the
Moore
question.
from
What,
Fox
Lisa?
Sports.
Oh, good job.
Yeah.
I'd love to answer all the questions, to be honest with you. And we will at the appropriate time when that report from the outside law firm is made public. I'd love to talk about the whole situation and clear up a lot of misconceptions.
Back right.
Aaron Fentress with the Oregonian. Coach, Lake Seastrunk is at the center of the investigation. What do you expect from him this season as a player?
Lake's growing as a football player. We really need to figure out who our third running back is. And as we came out of the spring, we still don't know that. And he'll be in competition. We have 2 young freshmen coming in that will compete with him, and then a couple other kids that he competed with in the spring practice. But that's a huge question mark, and we do have some questions because of graduation at some certain positions. And one of those questions is who's our third running back behind Kenyon and LaMichael?
Any other questions? Back left.
In light of the Lyles and the investigation and everything that's gone on, I mean, you said shortly after the story broke that you were no longer doing business with Willie Lyles.
Mhm.
Has this changed how you've gone about recruiting this process? I'm not asking a question about the investigation, but have you changed your philosophy and sort of your practice when it deals to scouting services?
No, and I know you have to ask the question, and we have, and we'll move forward. And I think some of the recommendations that we'll get from this outside firm in terms of what our best practices going forward.
Question in the far back left.
Coach, what's your message to the fans who may be waiting and wondering and maybe worried about what's going to happen with this investigation?
I think we got the best fans in all of college football, and you can come to Autzen Stadium and witness it for yourself. But the support that I've gotten from the fans since I got there in 2007 and up through till today has been tremendous, from either the emails that have been sent to me or the people that I see in the streets. And we're excited about the 2011 season, and I hope we got a lot of them show up on September 3rd at LSU.
Question front center.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about your latest recruit with DeAnthony Thomas and what made you go after him? What did you see in him?
Yeah, DeAnthony can run and just flat out run. He is a speed kid, and just jumped off a tape. I know a little while ago we were actually watching another player in the springtime, and we're looking at a linebacker. And our coaches were watching the tape, and we're talking about recruits for next year. And everybody kind of remarked, like, who's the running back on the other team that's just ripping them? And I said, thank goodness for us, that kid's coming here, and he's already going to be on our campus in June. So David's seen him. We haven't been around for any of the workouts. I know David told me when we flew down here that he's really, really fast. So I believe it's our coach's job to figure out a way to see if we can get him to football.
In the back right.
My question is about the quarterback, Darren Thomas. How good is he in a conference of quarterbacks, and is there a ceiling on how good he can be?
I don't know if there's a ceiling with Darren. I know, obviously, to do what he did in his first year as a quarterback in this league, in a league that's had some tremendous quarterbacks and has some great ones right now. I think the one thing about this league that sticks out is, Andrew Luck, Matt Barkley, Nick Foles, Darren Thomas, Toole, Ryan Katz. The list goes on and on and on. But, to come in as a first-time starter and go undefeated in the regular season, go undefeated in this conference, and lead his team to the berth in the national championship game. And I threw for, I think, the second most yards ever in a national championship game. The one thing that I remarked, and I said it a lot last year, is that it almost seemed like every week he just got better and better, and there are new facets to his game that he continues to work on. He's probably the toughest quarterback I've ever been around. If you look at the touchdowns that he's thrown, and just put a highlight tape of the 30-some-odd touchdowns he threw, and how many shots he took when he was throwing the ball, and he's truly a fearless competitor. He's really grown into the leadership role that we've asked him to, being the quarterback of our football team. The exciting thing for us is that he's only going to be a junior. But I don't know if there's a ceiling for him, and I hope there's not, because college football is a quarterback-driven game. This league is a quarterback-driven league, and we're going to go as far as Darren can play.
Question on the right over here.
Chip, after you had a chance to review a spring film on your offensive line, can you kind of talk about where things stand there and what you saw?
Yeah, good question. You know, we lack experience. You know, we lost 3 great players in C.E. Kaiser, and both ran in our center, Jordan Holmes, who had a tremendous amount, you know, to do with what our whole scheme is up front in terms of making calls and just understanding where we are. And Mark Asper's coming back, Carson York's coming back, Darian Weems is coming back, and those are the guys that have had some starts for us in our program. I think Mark started 10 or 12 games in his career, and he's going to be the leader. It's like anything. I think it's going to take some time to gel. We're confident in the group that we have. I like their athleticism. I like their toughness. I like their mindset. It's just the one thing you can't manufacture is experience. And we're going to try to do it as much as we can in the month of August, because we got to be ready to play on September 3rd against a really good LSU defense. So.
Okay, we got one back left, followed by the center.
This question's for David. David, last year after the Civil War, a lot of you guys were talking about how you were motivated at the beginning of the year of nobody giving you credit and giving you a chance with all the off-season issues. This off-season and heading into the year, how much has some of the off-field issues and maybe the investigation, how much are you guys using that as a motivating force?
I don't think it's too much different. I think, you know, we're a pretty motivated team already. I think it might help a little bit just to bring us together. But overall, our team is pretty motivated anyway, so I don't think it's had a big effect on us.
In the center.
Just on the topic of motivation, different teams have different personalities, are motivated by different things. You've talked often last year about not being motivated by outside expectations. Being picked to win the conference, though, I mean, is this a group that you'll talk about that with, or again, a group that you want to ignore that?
I'll talk about it with you guys today, but we'll never. I mean, we don't run our program on outside influences, and that's not going to change. And you know, it's nice to be picked to win. It's nice to be picked in the top 5 in the country, but it really doesn't mean anything until you go out and play the game. So that mindset won't change, Rob, in terms of using that as, you know, hopefully our motivation is intrinsic and comes from within in terms of our guys wanting to get better every day and become a better football team. But, you know, we don't ever hang, you know, this is our ranking and we have to live up to it and all those things. I think the vision that we have for this football program exceeds any expectations that anybody can write down on a piece of paper.
Chip, just a clarification real quick. I didn't know if I heard you correctly. Did you say you have or you have not changed or thought about changing how you go about recruiting as a result of, in response to John's
We're always looking on how we can improve recruiting.
Okay, and are you upset by the way the NCAA inquiry has sort of impacted the reputation of the program at this point?
I have great respect for how the NCAA does their business, George.
Well, I'm not asking you about the NCAA doing their business. I'm asking you if you're disappointed, discouraged, upset by the way that suddenly the program is looked upon and sort of you guys are cast as though you've done some things you shouldn't have done.
As I said earlier, and I know you guys have to ask the questions, is that we'll wait for the NCAA final determination to come out and the outside law firm's recommendations on how we should move forward. So,
Question down here, front left.
Chip, Craig Morgan from CBSSports.com. You just addressed the offensive line. Can you talk also about the defensive line and the wide receiver positions? With
those are, and again, we got some holes to fill. You know, with only 11 or so seniors coming back. At wide receiver, you lost Jeff Mail and Drew Davis, who were just 2 football players that epitomize everything we want in a player. You know, great special teams player, great blockers downfield, catch balls in traffic, run great routes, provided great leadership for us. We have 2 players that have played out there. You know, Lavase Tuane, who's really got to step up and become a leader for this wide receiver corps. And then Josh Huff, who's an explosive playmaker that played for us last year as a true freshman. And then after that, it's, you know, that's what preseason camp's all about, and trying to figure out who those other guys are. You know, we think we got a pool of guys, but again, the lack of experience, I think, is going to be the big thing that we're going to have to fight at the receiver position. I like our D-line after coming out of spring practice. Terrell Turner's back. You know, the one thing with our defensive line, we rotated 9 guys last year, and so they've all played a lot of quality snaps. You know, we do lose Brandon Bear, and we do lose Kenny Rowe, and we do lose Zach Clark, but Taylor Hart, Wade Killakepe, and Ricky Hamuli have played a ton of football for us. along with Terrell Turner, along with Deion Jordan, along with Brandon Hanna. So really for the defensive line, it's trying to find out who number 7, 8, 9 are, not who 1 through 6 are. But we'll continue to try to play a lot of guys on our defense. That's something that we pride ourselves on, is really kind of making sure we can get a lot of guys involved so we can get maximum effort for us, is, you know, play as hard as you can for 4 or 5 snaps and come out and take a breather for a second. Somebody's going to go in and play 2 or 3, and then you're going to go back in the game. And that system has worked for us for the last 2 years. So receivers a question mark, D-line's a question mark, and obviously O-line's a question mark. Those are where we have to fill in for some really, really experienced players that have left the football program. So.
All right, we've got time for one more question, back left.
Coach, we all heard Jeff Tedford say he wouldn't know Willie Lyles if he were standing in this room.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a guy, he had a business relationship with him, paid him for information and videos. You paid $25,000 presumably for garbage information that we've all seen. I've seen your phone records. This is a guy you had, big contact with. You knows pretty well. He says he may have broken rules.
Excuse me, at this time, Oregon has released a statement, and we're doing this for the 2011 Pac-12 football season.
This is about the season.
Appreciate it, and we'll go ahead and we'll
Does
conclude
that
at this
concern you
point.
at all? Does that concern you that people are doing business with guys they don't know and that the system appears to be broken?
I can't speak to what any other school has done with him. I know he deals with 80 some odd schools and what other services he's been involved with. So, but I know how we dealt with him. And again, I got to defer to, and I would love to talk about it. And when we have a chance after the report comes out, then I'll be able to clear up any questions that anybody has about the whole situation.
All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, guys.